Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and welcome back to the Love and Hate series. I started the series some time ago where I go through each of the factions for honor and tell you one thing I love and one thing I hate about each of the characters in those factions. We've done the Knights, Vikings, and Samurai, and I've really enjoyed putting the series together. It's kind of fun to take a look at the different aspects of the characters, and it's been fun for me because I've really had to stop and think about things that I like and dislike about certain characters. Now, when I first started the series, it was more kind of a joking kind of thing, because there are some characters that I may not like anything about, and I may give a joking response about what I like, or things I really don't have anything bad to say about, and I have to give a joking idea of what I don't like. But there were a lot of people who said that I need to be more critical and take this more seriously, so I'm going to do my best to do that here. But anyway, we're taking a look at the Wu Lin today. Not a lot of characters, only 5. Again, Ubisoft, please give us more Wu Lin characters. This is just sad at this point. But anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the Wu Lin characters and what I love and hate about each one. Starting off with Tiandi. What I love. He's got a very agile moveset, and he's the only Vanguard who doesn't use or really need an unblockable, making them rather unique for players to pick up. It really does teach you how to be more mobile and action-packed rather than just relying on the 50-50 nature of an unblockable. Now, you could argue that his kicking bash is kind of the replacement that he has for an unblockable, but I'll be real honest, I don't consider it that different because the reliability of it isn't always for sure, and lots of people are able to understand how to read that 50-50 pretty well. But overall, I think Tiandi is a lot of fun to play. He's a very entertaining character to use, so Tiandi is one that I really like playing. But what I hate about Tiandi is honestly not that much. There's not a lot I dislike. I think if I had to pick anything to dislike about Tiandi, it's that the screaming of their lines can sometimes be annoying. But I'll be honest, they don't bother me as much as Jorm or Varangian's screaming line. So, hey, you know what? Tiandi's fine with me. Jang Jun. What I love. Honestly, the Guandao is one of my favorite weapons. It's just absolutely awesome. I love the reference that he makes to Guan Yu in history, and so I think that the fact that he has that really awesome reference is just cool. His overall Elder Warrior design is pretty awesome, but again, it goes back to that weapon. The Guandao, I think, is a really awesome and underrated weapon in history. Most glaives and polearms, the more I think about it, are underrated, I feel like, in history. Everyone always likes to talk about swords, but hey, the Guandao is pretty solid. What I hate. I feel like he's a little too counterable in certain cases. His dodge attacks have a really large guard break window, and even though his dodge attack can be feinted into a light attack from the opposite direction, a lot of people can read that coming, and sometimes that can be very frustrating. I feel like it can be difficult for Jang Jun to really get rolling. He does have an opener with his kick attack, which can guarantee a light and allow him to flow into his combo, but there are times I just feel like it's hard to break this guy open, but still, he isn't a very enjoyable character. Nuia. What I love. Nuia is probably the most unorthodox of all the heroes. Her trap attacks change the whole method of battle for her, making her incredibly fun to play and incredibly frustrating for people to go up against. I've heard some people say that they figured out how to read her well and so that they know how to avoid her trap attacks, and maybe they have, and I'll admit that there are times where Nuia can be a little bit rough around the edges, but overall, she's got really great damage numbers, she's got some decent versatility with her trap attacks. I really love playing her, and she's one of my best. What I hate. Unfortunately, I do feel like she relies too much on one-on-one fights, meaning she can be overwhelmed in gank situations. If Nuia gets surrounded by too many enemies, she can have a hard time, especially when you consider that a lot of her feats were specifically designed for one-on-one situations, such as her first feat, which gives her a damage buff if she's fighting one-on-one with someone, so if she gets ganked, which is the meta of the game, she's just out of luck. Shaolin. What I love. I would argue that Shaolin may be the most perfectly designed hero in the cast. He does not have any unblockables, but he's very fast-paced. His movesets are awesome. I love his key stance. He just feels like a very balanced, fun hero to use. Whenever I see someone playing Shaolin, I never feel, oh no, it's going to be an OP Shaolin, but I also never go, ooh, this is an easy win. Shaolin, I just feel like, is a very fun hero to play and go up against. So, absolutely baller hero, really awesome. I think Shaolin is one of the best. But what I hate. if I'm being real honest, I am not a fan of the monkey-like behavior when he's not in his Sun Wukong skin. I prefer the stoic monk more than I do the crazy monkey. Just take a look at some of his executions and most of his emotes. A lot are very goofy and very silly, where he makes laughing noises or monkey-style noises, and he just acts like a wild monkey. I get that it's a reference to Sun Wukong, but unless he's wearing the Sun Wukong skin, it just looks weird to me. I prefer the idea of a monk being stoic and immovable and wise rather than crazy and bombastic. I know that that's personal preference for me, but that's the thing I hate about him. Zhan Hu. What I love. Zhan Hu is a simplistic hero to master and very beginner-friendly. If I'm being honest, it would have made a lot of sense to make Zhan Hu the vanguard of the Wu Lin and make Tiandi a hybrid. He's one of my favorite heroes with dodge cancellations, and I've learned more about how to use them and incorporate them from playing Zhan Hu. And I'll be honest, I feel like his moveset, while it is simplistic, is, again, very entertaining to use, and it can throw off a lot of very experienced players who aren't prepared for it. I also will admit that even though, yes, he does have unblockable lights, which a lot of people complain about, I found that people who have mastered the ability of light parrying, which is, I don't know, everyone, he's pretty easy to read. I actually like the fact that Havoc pointed out that a good way to play him is to play him like an Orochi, and I've tried that, and it actually has yielded some pretty good results. But what I hate, while I can praise his simplistic moveset, it is very basic, which means that Zhan Hu can be a little boring after a while. Sure, I mean, he is easy to understand and easy for beginners to pick up, but after a while you start to crave some versatility. You start using the same moves over and over and over again, and it becomes a little bit repetitive. He's better than Warlord at the very least, because at least Warlord can't mix up, some unblockables in there, and Warlord doesn't have dodge cancellation, so you can't move around very fast. But still, Zhan Hu is one of the more boring heroes to play after a while, so that's the only thing I hate about him. And that concludes all the Wu Lin. This was a lot shorter, and if you couldn't tell, there's not a lot I hate about the Wu Lin. It's a funny thing, when the Wu Lin were first introduced, a lot of people hated them. And even to this day, I read comments from people saying how much they despise all the Wu Lin, how they're all just light spammers, and how they're all just OP. I don't know. I think that they're all pretty good. I don't think any of the heroes are necessarily too OP, and I think they're all very fun to play. It was hard for me to think of things that I really hated about each one, but I enjoy playing the Wu Lin. I hope they get a new hero soon, and that does it for this video. What do you guys think about the Wu Lin? Let me know down in the comment section respectfully, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.